Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Aira Dina Setya Wardani. I am a third semester student of English Studies PIN Salatiga with student number 23030200056. Alright, I'll start reading PowerPoint. Direct instruction in critical reading skills. The author of the journal is William Petting, Edward Kamenew, Douglas Carnin, Russell Skersten, and Geoff and also Colvin. This journal published by Wiley on behalf of the International Reading Association. First, introduction. Direct instruction in critical reading skills. A direct instruction approach and workbook with corrective feedback approach in training 3 critical reading skills. The skills were the ability to detect instances of A. Faulty generalization, B. False causality, and C. Invalid testimonial. The present study attempts to extend this line of instructional research into the area of critical reading, that is, teaching students how to analyze and evaluate certain types of arguments present in text. The teaching strategies utilized are based on pure successful work with systematic instruction in comprehension with elementary students. Next is theoretical framework. Following Reich's Note 1 definitions, critical reading was defined for the purpose of this study as the set of processes or operations that occur when readers correctly identify valid versus invalid instances of arguments, reasoning, or presentation of evidence in written materials. This definition of critical reading was applied to 3 categories of invalid arguments. Table 1 presents A. The category, B. The rule that students were taught to identify that category of invalid arguments, and C. An example of an invalid argument. Third is method. 1. Research using experimental research methods. 2. Subjects were selected from 4 grades, 5 grades in 2 public schools in the 125,000 community in the Northwest. Subjects had to meet 2 criteria: reading skills and an 11-item screening test covering 3 categories of invalid arguments. 3. Experiments and tests were carried out on 3 subjects from each of the 3 samples. 4. Teaching sessions are conducted according to the principle of direct teaching or active teaching articulated by Stephen and Rosenstein. 5. The experiment was monitored by a trained superintendent teacher daily during the pilot study and during the first 2 weeks of the experiment. 6. The main tests developed in this study are critical tests, reading tests, and reference tests. Then, data presentations and analysis. Table 2 provides the sample means, standard deviations, ranks of scores, and the mean percentage of items correct on the dependent measures for the 3 treatment groups. Separate one-way analysis of variance were performed on each measure. Results are presented below. An analysis of the results obtained on the major criterion measures, the critical reading test indicate that systematic instruction by an adult using modeling and explicit training in other strategies was significantly more effective than either exposure to the same material in a workbook format and no intervention. On the second slide is the conclusion. There is a definite need for extension of the research undertaken in this study in increasingly more naturalistic settings. Some areas of immediate interest for future research are 1. The representativeness of experimental text could be enhanced by including an expanded range of examples, particularly more subtle examples of this phenomena taken from texts and library books. Additional types of invalid arguments could also be studied. 2. A combination of the systematic instruction and workbook approach. Explicit instruction followed by independent practice seems appropriate or classroom use. 3. Small group rather than individual instructions. And the last slide is comment. This journal describes direct instruction in critical reading skills using experimental research methods. For the research framework, it is quite complete. That's the PowerPoint reading about direct instruction in critical reading skills. More or less, I apologize. Thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.